Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome back to your Wednesday's Talking Town. I'm your host, The Gov. It is fantastic to be here with you, and in case you didn't catch our transfer roundup show last night, I would like to just say again a huge thank you to all of the well wishes, comments, loves, prayers, everything that you wonderful Talking Town community listeners, viewers have given to me and my family over the last week or more. It truly is brilliant, uplifting, loving, comforting, all of those different things. And thank you ever so much. I'm back in the big chair now, and normal service can resume. But we have got Cruncher looking over the figures, looking over the viewing figures with a fine tooth comb. He wants to make sure we don't lose the numbers he's been getting. So stick with me, ladies and gentlemen. The scene we are here to preview the trip of Cambridge. So it's not a far drive. It's not a long trip. It's not a million miles, but it's a trip down or up. Is it down or up the A14? I mean, that's a good. Yeah, let me know in the chat. Somebody who's a bit more intelligent than I probably. But is it up the A14 or is it down? Surely it's up the A14, right? But anyway, while we work our way through that mind meld, let's get a couple of comments. Ben Hobbs, evening all. Oh, okay, it's quite far from you, but coming up from Newcastle for the Forest Green game on the 18th. Hope to meet you at the statue. You certainly will. Lee Brown, evening everyone. Hope all is good. Anyone got a spare Cambridge ticket? Would be so grateful. So it's a great shout, Lee. Why not ask it, my man? You know, take that shot, as they say. Adi says, good afternoon. Colin says he's here. Love it. Mike, lots of people, lots of comments. Absolutely love that. So we'll look at Cambridge, as I say, who's in a place and a half, play up front. We've got Carl Edwards' interest, what we think of that. We were showing off our children, yes, because my contributor is also a brand new dad. So I didn't have my child, but he certainly had his little bundle of joy. And yes, so you may get to meet him a bit later on in the show. You may not. I don't know. We'll see if he can behave over dinner. But yeah, we were talking babies. Paul P, the officials closed ranks. This is the incident, isn't it, with Oxford, the referee issue. We'll try and unpack that a little bit as we go through. I don't know much about it, so maybe somebody more in depth can tell me. JG would like to super chat donation. Well, if you'd like to super chat donation like JG, which is absolutely fantastic, and I thank you all ever so much for those who do wish to do that. On the chat, there is a button. I have to go to the chat and look at it. Just give me a minute. It's a rectangle with a dollar bill. Just press that. And then it's super chat, super sticker, membership gifting. So you can give somebody the gift of a membership of Talking Town, $4.99. You can join on a monthly basis, or you can do a super chat, super sticker. So that's where you find it. If you're on a mobile device, you're testing me now, JG, because obviously I never watch myself too much. I never watch myself live, that's for sure, because I'm normally doing it. So you'd have to bear with me. I'll have to have a look while we get acquainted and reintroduced with somebody who, well, he's been on paternity. The Milktray Man Ben Adams.
You know when you're gonna go break up from a girlfriend, right?
Well, no girlfriends for you, son. No girlfriends for you, but
you've got to get rid of that picture. That was me in the height of lockdown. I look absolutely terrible.
I don't think anyone is looking good in their pictures. We might do some new ones in the summer. How are you, first and foremost? You're looking fresh. You're looking well. That's the most important thing.
Really good. Very, very blessed. Very happy. Obviously, you'll probably hear the crying in the background because it's just about time for feeding now. But we are in a really wonderful place. We're exhausted. And Danny just dropped her phone down the stairs.
No, it wasn't my phone, that was something else.
Okay, yeah, we're exhausted. We're knackered. We're in love. Oh, here he is. Okay, so.
Oh, he's coming in.
Are you on live to everyone?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let's see.
Yeah?
Yeah, bring him on. Here he is. So, this is the latest Junior Blue. This is Ellis. So, hello, Ellis.
Look at him.
He's got long fingers, so I think he's a goalkeeper. He's got long legs, so he's definitely a defender or a goalkeeper, I think. But he's very, very hungry, aren't you? You're really hungry. Yeah. Yeah, but this is who Daddy was talking to, that you heard me when you were mummy for ages. So welcome to Talking Town. And I hope you have a fantastic meal, beautiful boy. There he is.
Beautiful. Look at that. So what's his full name, Ben?
Ellis Harry Roger Adams. Sorry, Ellis Harry Roger Adams. That's baby brain.
Double-barreled middle names.
Yeah, well, it's a kind of a homage to the men of our family. Harry is Danny's granddad, and Roger is my dad. So I said I'll bring him on and show him what we do, and I cannot wait to bring him to his first game at Portman Road. It'll be a wonderful day.
Congratulations, Ben. As Mike D says, he's a smasher, and he's already better than Kaden Jackson, he reckons.
I tell you what, when I said Kaden Jackson's contract had been renewed, Danny felt sick for 3 days in pregnancy. See, look, you see what Kaden Jackson does to a boy? Oh, there you go, then.
Okay. Love it. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. The TT Nursery, as Stephen Parry will call it. Welcome to Talking Babies. Absolutely, Ada. You know it makes sense. €10 super sticker. Oh, now that's an old picture.
What have I done?
Now that is an old picture.
Yeah, that was me when I was 15. I was about 15 when I took that from my YouTube account. There we go. Oh, good. Do you notice I had a hairline?
We are just a multi-vehicle entertainment show. We really are, or the multi-entertainment vehicle. Anyway, €10 from David. Appreciate that. JG, if you're on your mobile, is a little rectangle at the bottom where you put your comments in, if that helps. I've just looked, literally, while we were being introduced to the wee tractor boy there. If you go to chat, it's a little rectangle with a dollar bill. Boom. Whoops, sorry, that's my son's piggy bank opening up.
Oh, there's
the metaphor, I guess. Kaden Jackson may all cry at some point, says Ashley Anton.
It's true.
He is still here. So we're surprised to see Kaden remain part of the squad. I'll just ask the question.
Yeah, I was, because it's funny, because it's buttressed against what I would consider, and I will be fair, probably for me, his best ever performance on the weekend. And I know I'm saying it against, he's had matches where he scored a couple of goals, but I think as an all-round performance, my last home game, it was absolutely incredible. I would even argue he's probably the best defender on the pitch. Maybe we're missing a trick somewhere. But he was up and down. He was quick. He's basically a sprinter, not a footballer, but actually in that kind of a game that really worked well because he covered a lot of areas. So maybe for me the balance is, although I don't think Kaden should be anywhere near a starting squad, for the parts he does play, I thought he played very well, and his fitness and his speed against a team that were doing pretty much the same thing seemed to really work in conjunction with those around him. So my hat's off to Kaden. He done very well. That's his one good game out of every 11. So it will be 11 games before we see that again. But over 150 games, that has been the mathematical standard. So mathematically, that was always going to happen on Saturday.
Fair enough. All right. Okay. I know you're well documented on your thoughts on Kaden. Obviously, I'm a bit more of a fan of Kaden than perhaps yourself, or certainly than yourself. That's not hard by what you just expertly detailed there. But a good performance against Burnley. Mm-hmm. I won't ask you just yet if you think he'll come into the side against Cambridge, but the Burnley replay date has been set, Tuesday the 7th of February.
Yeah.
Tickets are on sale. Obviously, if we progress through that, it's going to be either Fleetwood or Sheffield Wednesday. So good chance of an FA Cup quarter-final should we come through it.
Yeah.
Would you be going there to Turf Moor with a strong 11, a makeshift 11, or let's not get too carried away. Quarter-final potentially would be nice. It would be Wednesday and Fleetwood, but we still have to get out of League One.
I think it will be fair if we went with the team that actually plays so well against them. It sounds like a cliche. I know we said this for 20 years running, and it's a real cliche. Is we got bigger things to focus on, which is true because we have to get out of this Christ-forsaken division. But I would like to see a strong team, and I think we fielded a really good team. Crunch was mentioning it yesterday. With the depth of the squad is terrifyingly good. We have all the skill in the world, but the one thing I've seen missing is the metal. We have the craftsmanship, we have the experience. What we don't have is metal. And I thought I saw a little bit of that, ironically, from a B team. So I would go with the same team. And if we do progress, you stick with the same team, because what good's it going to do with changing it all around? Because it wouldn't be fair to those that got us there in the first place. So we have the depth to put out a strong team, even though it's not our first. Ironically, you argue in a funny way that was our best team, not on paper, but as far as the thing I want to show, which is metal and character, which I saw an absolute spade loads on the weekend. So really pleased to see that.
I know when we spoke, certainly after, maybe during the game, you were thoroughly enjoying it, which was not something you often say as a town fan of an FA Cup game, is it?
Not at all. And I went there as I went in the, what is it called, the centre spot now, whatever it's called. I had one of the meals before the game. Is it Brian Hamilton? Is that his name? The Irish guy.
You're VIP in it, were you?
Yeah, we do it twice a year. My uncle, my dad, my cousin, my granddad. It's a bit of a family thing. We've done it for 30 years. And that was our time to do it there. Now, I'll be honest with you, I probably wouldn't have come otherwise because I'm not really a massive fan of the FA Cup. But do you know what? It turned out to be one of my favourite games of the season. A great day with family, a good atmosphere, and an absolutely fantastic game of football. And I think great Burnley fans. But I was wondering why there were so many police about. But I'm in the upper right-hand Churchman stands. It will always be the Churchman stands, by the way. And I was looking over at Burnley. You would not want to pick a fight with any one of them, I tell you. So I kind of got it. What all the police are about. But great game, great day.
I'm certainly in love and not a fight. About that. Jamie Souza does what he needs to do. Never gave me a 9 on his own. Does a 7 out of 10 job. That's on Kaden Jackson. Thanks for your comment, Jamie. Thanks for your well wishes over the last 10 days as well. Lots of great comments coming in. Stephen Payne needed a team of different strength, and he adds to the pace and strength. Max KJ's been working hard on his deficiencies. His cross to Hurst in the first minute was top class, and you did say he played well at the weekend. And Adi says, "Congratulations, Ben and family. Have missed you at Seraph Statue in recent
Thank
weeks."
you, mate. Yeah, miss seeing you.
We all miss the Milktray Man. We really do. I want to come back to a player that was playing Saturday in just a second. But first of all, Carl Edwards had some interest in Hull. Didn't go. Will he go in the summer? Cruncher sort of thought he would on last night's transfer round.
So for me, Kieran McKenna doesn't trust him. And you can see that by where he puts him and when he puts him on. He is a lovely character with bags of ability. But from what we've seen he's capable of, he should be in that team more than he is. You bring him on for the maverick live wire element who can turn a game on a head and do something crazy. But Kieran McKenna is not that kind of a manager. There's a reason he doesn't have a plan B. It's because he's very strict and stagnant in his stand A, as well as that usually works for us. For me, Kyle Edwards is too much of a maverick for Kieran McKenna, and I don't think he trusts him. And that's not a criticism. There will be teams that trust the maverick side of the Kyle Edwards and all of his ability, who are a bit more gung ho. But I don't think Kieran's that kind of a manager.
I would agree with you. I would agree. And I kind of said the same thing last time about Corey and Darber, Richard Keogh. Not a massive drop off. Not getting anything out of Keogh that I wouldn't have expected out of Darber. I might be wrong. I don't see these lads trained week in, week out. I don't proclaim to be a football manager, for crying out loud. Certainly not. But no, I would agree. I said in the summer,
he doesn't trust him, Gav. He doesn't trust him.
No. I said in the summer, a loan deal for him would be the best route. Go and get game time, keep developing, don't sit on the bench, don't get 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. And I got a few moans, rightfully so, because he did come on in points of the season and turn a game and win us a game against Cambridge last time, for example. But I still believe in my heart of hearts that would have been the best thing for him.
I'm thinking, I'm comparing him to, let's bring up Kaden Jackson, okay? That we're well aware of my criticism, but one thing you can't criticise Kaden Jackson for is that he will follow a game plan like he was a private in an army. It was yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir. He will never ever do anything outside of what's told him to do. Run up and down the lines, try and cross in, push the back line up. Fair enough, and you could argue he does it good or bad, and whether that's enough. Edwards doesn't do that. You watch where he positions himself. You can see where he goes on the pitch and where he's telling his teammates to play. Watch 5 minutes later where he is. He will not be there. Kaden will stick to the things he's told to do, and for me, that's the reason why Kaden is getting probably more minutes than Edwards. He's got less ability, but he follows the letter of the law more, and I think Kieran trusts Kaden. He doesn't trust Edwards. That's my presupposition for what it is. But I really noticed this the last few games. And I thought, it's becoming a bit more obvious the more I see it.
It's interesting because obviously we had the window just closed yesterday, and lots of players have moved for silly money. But I'm going to bet most of them have got some sort of bonuses built into their contract. If I was Kaden Jackson's agent, I'd want a tactical bonus, not a goal bonus, not an assist bonus. I want how well does he do the job that he's asked to do based on whatever metrics that job in that system can have. Because you're right, he fills that criteria. If you tell him to run down the wing, he'll do that. If you tell him to be a defensive player, he'll do that. He literally embodies.
And I saw Mikey's comment in the chat here. Agree. Mike says, give me Edwards over Kaden any day. I'm 100% with you, Mike. 100% with you. But That's not what Kieran McKenna's looking for. He likes people who do what are instructed to do. And you look at the players who are on the pitch, they do their jobs. We very rarely have someone who's going to break ranks and do something masterful. And that's the criticism of when a plan A doesn't work. Plan B is not just who you put on a pitch instead of another player. It's given the players the freedom to actually change it on their own terms on the pitch. Our players don't do that because as well as they're drilled and coached, and they're drilled and coached very well, they're actually done it so well that I don't think they can play outside of those bounds. There is no place for a maverick in our team. Probably a little bit of why we didn't get Selena, if you want my honest opinion.
Okay.
A little bit of that.
Yeah, no, interesting. Love to see what the chat make of that. Another point you're going to be really coming out on, and I love to get the chat's point of view on this one. We spoke over the weekend, and the performance you weren't overly impressed with was the El Capitano, Sam Morsy's performance.
Okay. Let's just lay this out, because
lay it out, big man.
I know I'm going. This is on a purely footballing basis, not on a character basis. Which there is an irony and a confusion there, because ironically character is the one thing I'm asking for, so I do understand the opposition of what I'm saying. For me, Morsy needs to question his place in our team, and about now there's going to be 500 fingers going, not the character, not the attitude, not the leadership qualities. For me, I think he's lost a couple of yards of pace. I think he's been slow. I watched him pull out of 5 tackles on the weekend. We counted them because actually someone else down the row started. And I thought, that's interesting. Why has that been picked up? His distribution's been quite poor. He doesn't win any headers. He has no assists. And bearing in mind, this is something people blame Luco for, but okay, arguably more because he plays in the higher place of the pitch. It was speculated that he would score 10 goals this season. I can't see if he's going to score a goal this season.
He's got
3. I'm trying to separate the metal, the leadership qualities, the attitude, which is absolutely first rate, and everything I want in a captain of my club. But as a footballer, there's been a drop off, and it's been noticeable. And it wasn't actually me that came to this. It was a lot of people around me were talking about this. I thought, really, Morsy, he's fucking fantastic. And then I watched him game after game, thinking, yeah, he's pulling out of tackles. He's not completing his passes. He's second to balls. He doesn't win headers. I haven't seen the chat now. I'm on my bloody iPad because my laptop's fucked. So
I'll bring them.
I'm imagining there's a lot of hate out there, but
I'll bring them just a second. So lost a yard, a drop off. I mean,
yeah, for me, look, it's a personal opinion, but
no, and that's what it's all about. That's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to do. You know,
I'm not saying drop him. Opinion. I'm just saying now I'm thinking. It came into the chat last night. Now we're thinking about who our next captain's going to be, and some really great contenders. If your captain's smashing in 12 goals a year, winning every tackle, distributing the ball, and he does cut up play very well, to be fair, you wouldn't even be having the conversation. That doesn't even enter the matrix, regardless of your age. So I'm wondering where that conversation came from last night. So it's a really controversial opinion, and I would.
His age, I'd imagine.
What's the question? Does he still go in your team sheet every week? Yes, he does. But my question is what do you need out of a captain? Is it just the metal and the attitude and the rallying around you? Because Chambers done all that. Chambers had all the characteristics of a captain, but okay, he's a much worse footballer than Morsy. Jesus Christ! But I'm saying,
I'm glad you clarified it.
The one set of standards supplant the other. So it's a real interesting kind of observation I've really noticed crop up recently. I'll see what the comments say and see how much.
I will come to the comments in a moment.
Yeah, Ben behave, Ben fuck off.
So just to put, he's 31, obviously.
Yeah.
So
from baby,
not out of the realms of possibility to obviously be looking ahead and thinking he's a future captain. Who is the future captain? He's 31, which isn't old as a 33-year-old, believe me. But
has he improved since he's got here? Luke,
this is it. This is where I get stuck. Oh, hello. Where'd he go? There we go.
Striker. Name. 15 goals. What's he on? Lead striker.
Chaplin?
No.
Ladapo?
Yes. Has Morsy improved like Ladapo? Ladapo I criticise, but he's getting better and better and better. Has Morsy improved?
It's really difficult because I often say with Morsy, you've got to sort of separate the two. So first of all, you've got the leadership, which you can't ever put into a statistical metric. There is no
I agree with
stat,
this.
as far as I
totally
know,
agree.
on any site that will tell you what what leadership looks like on a football pitch. It is very different for very different people. Matt Holland is a very different leader to a Luke Chambers. Not to say either style is wrong, but that's the way it is. So he's a leader. He's the leader of the group. He's the alpha male. He's all of those different things that you want to sort of just put those words into it. His play, for me, statistically, in the position, I'm not agreeing with you, but certainly I'd want more than 3 goals and 3 assists. He is the box to box driver. He is the player expected to be on the end of the move, not the end of the move, but certainly coming into the box late, having a shot from the edge of the area to score the same number of goals as Lee Evans, who's my, I don't want to say enforcer, but I'll say it just to be a lazy.
He's the best midfielder on the pitch for me.
That said, I do think he's being played out of position. I do think Sam Morsy is an enforcer, not an 8.
And can you ask, why has he gotten so much slower over the season? I can't work it out, and I really love to know why. For someone who knows more about football than me, maybe
I can't comment on that.
But I don't know.
I don't think he has necessarily, but
really, you don't think he's lost 2
I have
yards
to
of
watch
pace?
it. I'll have to watch it. I'm not agreeing with you, but I'm saying statistically, I'd want better. I would want more. I'd want 5 goals.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Do you think you'll get 5 goals?
Many more. And if you think about Morsy, when he has quite a few shots a game, but they're all fucking daisy cutters straight at the goalkeeper. The keepers just throw his stats on most of them. And if we look at the stats, shots per game, 2 shots a game. I'd want more than 3 goals.
Yeah, Denassi has shots per game. I mean, you need to be scoring more goals. And I think I'm not saying. I don't want this to be tilted to say I think he's bad or I think he's.
No, you're saying
you're
saying noticing a change, maybe.
It's a significant change, and I'm not quite sure what it's about. And for me, maybe it's a lot more about pace, because without the pace, a lot of the things I speak about, actually, you're not going to get as many tackles. You're not going to be running first to head the ball and to get your angle right. There's something about the speed, and it's so next match. Just eviscerate me tonight. I knew I'd get evisceration by saying this, and I am operating on about 2 hours sleep a night. So bear this in mind.
It's an interesting point. It's an interesting one.
The next game, watch him run and think.
There comes a point in a footballer's career when you do drop off. But I'm not saying he's doing it. I'm not saying he's had it. I'm not saying this is it.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting point, and we all. What is this platform about? If it isn't about opinions from the left, the right, the middle, the up, the down, the central, whatever it might be, it's all about opinions. It's all about listening to the opinion, debating with it, engaging with it. Norman said, "Having made it easy." No, sorry, it's not about Morsy. JG Jackson was giving something about pace. That's extreme, says Phil. David thinks the midfield player is he thinks our midfield is slow with Evans and Morsy. So a little bit of agreement.
Okay, but you could say then, but that's okay because we do have pace on the wing. So because that's one place I'm really happy about, and certainly what's happened with our left back and the right back we just bought now, incredible, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. And we've got 2 quality players for every single position on the pitch for me, and although maybe not as your centre, your right winger, perhaps I think they're still a bit weak where Wes is. If Wes gets injured, I don't trust who's behind him. But the possibilities are excitement, and I said without a really strong transfer window that we have no hope of getting promoted this season, because we have to go out and buy the metal to get us promoted. And I think potentially we have, from the little bits I've seen. So it's been a really strong transfer window, and I'm really excited for the next little bit of the season, because we have bought bloody well, and we bought well quick, which are 2 criticisms we've probably had for 10 years of the club. True. So it's exciting times.
It is. AD says, I thought Morsy had a good game last Saturday, chance to shoot, but chose to pass out wide instead. Paul P, interesting at the 2. I think Evans is the one who's dropped off since coming out from injury. Jason Fix totally agrees. Thinks that he has dropped off a lot. A lot of fans in the North Stand, we sit here and say the same. So you're not alone. You're not alone. Nick Will breaks up play, tick, wins the ball, tick, makes passes, tick. Tyron the baby says Jose let him off.
He breaks up play very well. He does break up play.
Which goes back to my point about him. I still think he is the enforcer and
fair enough.
8. but that I'm not the one picking the team. Zurak says, I almost wonder if Clark coming in, opening Burns will also at midfield, open up, get some space. Ben, for me, Morsy and Evans are far too similar in recent games. For Kane, we did go Massimo and Morsy. ITFC Mad. Morsy's played a lot of football. Probably why McKenna has subbed him off in the last few games. Good point. He has played near enough every game.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's fair enough, and that might be the reason. He's fucking exhausted and he's not 22. For
sure. Yeah. Phil Blundell, Morsy wasn't quick when he came into the club. Even I noticed that over the last 18 months. Phil, if Morsy was played in a more advanced role, then he would score more. I disagree with that. Disagree, because he doesn't show me that ability.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I welcome the point, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I just don't think.
That's like saying if Walton played as a striker over 10 years, he'd probably accumulate more goals. You know, I mean, it's just a fact of where you put people statistically. So I get what you're saying, but not quite there, I'm afraid.
Connie says we're a really good side. We are a very good side, but sadly we're the third best side currently, and I want to be the top two best sides in this division. So until we're there, we keep
I agree.
Up.
That's it. He's right what Colin says, because we've always kind of been a team going back where we really raise our game against the better teams, and it's usually the shitty Morecambes and the rubbish down the bottom that we really struggle. The amount of points we've lost against rubbish teams, and last season that was a real, like a real awful part of our season. The dropped points against crap clubs who are just trying to get out the relegation zone, and then we go to the top of the team. We beat them 2-0 comfortably. We are a team that has always traditionally risen to the occasion. Evidence being the weekend.
Yeah, I agree. Evidence against the fact we can't do well against the lower echelon sides of the division, the bottom six or go. All right, on to Cambridge. A couple of question marks sort of not throughout, but in a couple of key areas, or there's certainly options now in which we can operate. George Nunn did a wonderful little graphic for us.
Yeah, I've got that saved on my phone as a picture, actually.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Absolutely
what are
beautiful.
the numbers on the right-hand side, by the way?
It's their squad number, but it might be their age. No, it's their age. It's their age.
Oh, of course, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's their age.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful graphic. Love it. So let's start with the centre-half positions. Now, Fleetwood, we had Keogh and the Fridge.
Mm-hmm.
Do they play again for you against Cambridge, or are you changing it up? And if you're changing it up...
So this is the right centre-back, yeah?
Yep, so you got Wolfenden or Keogh.
Wolfenden for me, no questions. Yep.
Okay, so what does that mean? Keogh drops out the side after coming in against Fleetwood?
Correct.
Okay, all right.
Wolfenden, Edmondson, Burgess. I mean, that's a coin flip. Burgess been at fault, but still, I think a cracking defender. Edmondson, the great defender. It's a coin flip on that one. Maybe my heart says Burgess, but my head says Edmondson. On the left, God, we are lucky, aren't we? Look at that. Davis, I would say, and on the right, Clark, because I think I've got a lot of love for Donatian. I love that player. I think he's got a great attitude. He survived multiple Coles, and he's really cemented a place in the ever-improving squad. But I just feel that finally we've got someone who's just a little bit better and a little bit younger, it seems.
Sure.
So that's my back four. So Davis, Edmondson, Wolf and Clark. Burns, because Edwards doesn't start.
A lot of love in the chat for Wolf and Fridge, and I think that's where I'd go as well, to be fair.
Yeah, I totally get it, because they're damn good players. Even though we have, defence has been a bit of a bone of contention for us all. Going across the middle, Burns, because Edwards is never going to start in a million years. Morsy, despite what I said, because it's better the devil you know. And
any temptation to bring Luongo in?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. Because he looked fucking fantastic for me. If
not for Morsy or Evans. So
that's another thing for Morsy. He plays 7 games and gets sent off for 2. That's another one. So you need someone consistently there, because he's every game is picking up a red card, no matter what. So there's another one. But so Morsy but Luongo, God, they're good players, aren't they?
Very good. Yeah.
Chaplin, Humphreys.
Now this is interesting,
Evans.
because obviously you get to the forward areas there. You've said
Burns
Burns on the right.
It's hard.
Who's your left winger going to be?
Broadhead.
You're going to go for over Harness, yeah, again?
Oh, no questions, yeah.
Okay. What were your thoughts on Broadhead?
Solid. Can turn on the ball. Aggressive. Forward thinking. Looks at the players around him. Good positioning off the ball. Looked like he plays like he's pissed off. And I fucking love that. He plays angry. And I love that. Whereas I really like Harness, especially those beautiful, beautiful, beautiful eyes. But I feel that the aggression is what we need, particularly now coming to the business end of the season. Yeah. Harness is a fantastic player and he scored some great goals and done some good things. But now we need balls.
He struck me as a winner.
I think this guy.
You know what I mean? Like somebody just he would probably sell his own.
He plays
family
angry,
for a bit of silver. I mean that in a really good way as a footballer, by the way. I mean, it's a really good way. You know, I'm going to win at all costs this afternoon. If it means I've got to trip player up, you know, win because I've got Wayne Rooney sent off, a la Ronaldo sort of style. You're going to want to do it at all costs, and we've missed that.
Yeah.
It
has been lacking because coming up against it when you really need someone to go. Fuck the plan, fuck all this.
Yeah, balls to the wall, mate.
We do not have that in our squad. We don't have it in our squad. There is no one in our squad, arguably apart from Morsy because of the attitude, who would actually say, fuck it, we're winning this match. And if you don't like it, send me off or sub me off. That's your man for that.
Drag your team over the line.
The business end of a League One season with shitty refs and tough grounds, that is what gets you promoted, not skill.
Yeah, and obviously we've got a partnership with TB12, Tom Brady, and he's just retired for the NFL. And in the NFL, there's a position called the quarterback. And they say, how clutch are you? How are you when your team is on the line, the game's on the line, your team's up against it? Can you put that team on your shoulders and will them to victory? And that's what I think Broadhead's the sort of player he is.
Yeah,
put the team on my shoulders in the 81st minute. We ain't going home without 3 points. We'll see.
He is that Rocky speech for me, that guy. He is that it's not how hard you can hit, it's how hard you can get hit and keep on moving forward. And that's the kind of player that is. We will go goals down. He will get bundled off the ball. You will never see that man slack off. I watched all his highlight reels and what different teams have said about him. You haven't just bought a football, you bought a fucking Trojan warrior.
You can make Aaron's really look at him. YouTube video.
He was in the film 300 as the entire front line when the Persians attacked.
He was there.
He was the several fight in the shade.
Who was the lead cast in that? Oh, his name escapes me. I can see his face.
Who?
He's the this is Sparta.
Oh, Gerard Butler.
That's it. Do you know what? I'm not in that film. I'm not seeing that film. Do you know, when I broke up with my first, not my first wife, but my first girlfriend, I watched that film for like every day on repeat for like.
Because it's one of the greatest films ever made.
Awesome it was.
It's brilliant.
I've watched it since.
It's one of the best films ever. You ever want to kind of increase the sperm count? I suggest you sit down with a beer and you watch it.
I might go and watch it tonight. You know,
that film is so good. It impregnates people. It's brilliant. I think Danny got pregnant after I watched that film. Actually, I'm pretty sure of it. Yeah.
Well, until the old scissors come out, son, I'm not watching that film then. I'm going to be brutally honest because I don't want to risk that. On to the striker situation. Obviously, the graphic needs updating, as is football. It moves so quick. But obviously, Hadmi joined Burton on loan. Good luck to Hadmi on loan for the rest of the season.
Yep.
Burton got sort of 4 or 5 of the top 6 as coming up, so he could really play a part. Just not in a blue and white shirt. But you've got the Dapo, Hurst, and Kaden Jackson, who is a striker, but will probably play right if he plays at all.
Yeah,
who's your striker going to be?
We'll agree, and I think even Kieran McKenna would say he's not a striker because a striker scores goals first and foremost. In the 150 games and 21 goals, is not a striker. That's just being in the right place at the right, in the right position long enough. So Jackson, if you're going to do anyone, you could even say, depending on the type of game, if Burns comes off or gets injured, then you would put Jackson on perhaps as that to push that back line and cut in, which he done very successfully on the weekend. But I think there's no question of it's got to be Ladapo because he's in form. You put on your in-form strikers when you want to win games. That's a very simple piece of football with mathematics.
Yeah, absolutely. So Ladapo, Broadhead, Chaplin, and Burns, a tasty front 4.
Very.
At League One level, the options are certainly there. The excuses have been. I do feel, certainly with the planning of Broadhead, less so maybe and Clark, but less so with maybe Hurst and Luongo. Again, the only people, as I said last night, and I'll say continuously, who can prove me wrong are the players themselves. But I do think with the signings of Broadhead and Clark, Ben, Mark Ashton has kind of removed the excuses for me. You've got the ingredients, now bake me a fucking good cake.
There are no, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Because what is it that Willy Wonka says to Charlie at the end of the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? What happens to the little boy who got everything he wants? And that's kind of where Kieran McKenna is, isn't he? He's the young manager who has got everything he's wanted. He said, I want that player. Don't mention it. He's yours. So there are no more excuses. So that's a lot of pressure on Kieran as well. And I think, like it's been mentioned, I think it was Crunch on the weekend, or it might be Matt, I'm not sure, who said, these American owners, they want results. They're spending millions in a shit league, and they want to return on the investment. So you could say, if anything, what the investment has done is shorten the time span for suspected success by Kieran McKenna. So it puts a bit more pressure on. But hey, do you know what? He's a young manager. How do you find out if you're a great one? You win shit.
Well, that is it. Absolutely. And we're sitting third. Still a long way to go, as Richard, as Cruncher would tell me. He's not Richard. I'm not his mum. He's not in trouble. As Cruncher would tell me. So, well, it remains to be seen. But some great comments this evening. If you want to carry on the conversation, go to Discord, become a Talking Town Fifth Standard by going to Ko-Fi or hitting the join button on YouTube, and you get access to Discord, where you can carry on the conversation.
I've got to ask you because I don't do computer stuff. Doing this technologically is a miracle for me. I'm like a child. But
we're very pleased.
But what is a Discord? I hear it all the time on YouTube and stuff. What is it? Okay,
so how can I put this in language that me and you? Because I'm like
imagine as if I was a child. Which
me and you had MSN, right? Where you'd get home from school, you'd log in, and you talk to your mates, right?
Yeah.
You change your status, you put your crush's name in stars, you'd put your music on, you'd log on and log off, back on again when she didn't or he didn't talk to you. All those different things. Yeah, we had MSN, right? Basically, is all of that, but without the juvenile stuff. Well, can't say that, to be fair. Crunch is on it, but you log in, it's a server, there's threads. I mean, I've got to do a lot of work to it, to be fair, but it's a great little place to talk about Ipswich Town Football Club with people who are
forum.
Yeah, very much so. But it turns itself into a little chat, basically, like this, where you just bounce off each other. I'm trying to bring threads into it, just to try and keep it neat and tidy, not to try and be like a forum. But it's a great little place to talk about Ipswich Town with people you know through the show, be it contributors or in the chat itself, because only people who are patrons, Talking Town Fifth Standards, are able to get access to the Discord. So you're not going to run into any, what's the phrase that Crunch and Matt call him? Lemons.
Okay.
So it's good. It's good. $4.99 or $7 or $8.99 the 2 tiers, but you can join. You can cancel at any point. Get access. Yeah. Bish bash bosh. I'll drop the link and information in the chat. It is good. It is good. We had MSN,
question, by the way. That wasn't a planted question. So
no, it wasn't. I think they know that by my response because I had to sort of.
I thought someone was talking about a part of the car or something. I didn't know what it was.
Well, I think they know it wasn't a response because I had to try and stop and think. Okay, how do I describe this that me and you might know? Because I'm the same as you, same sort of age, same sort of technical level. I just press a button, and on the very first live show, I didn't even do that right. So it's notorious. I'm not great, but I mean, I send people WhatsApp messages for people that isn't meant for them. Like my wife will say, "It's not meant for me." So,
yeah, I know. You sent this picture of you in your underpants. I thought, what the hell are you sending me that for? It's 12:10 at night.
Okay, fair enough. My mistake. But no, it is good fun, and MSN. Those are the days.
Oh, MSN. Remember that?
Logging in, logging out, logging in. I mean, what a time to be alive. Anyway,
brilliant.
Zurax says it's an MSN forum hybrid where a group of people join servers about each other. Quite often, friends will make small servers, but you'll get servers on certain like Talking Town. There you go.
Okay.
He knows that person knows a lot more than I do. My last question to you is a score for Saturday, and we'll turn the lights off.
2-1. I think we're in a really good place now, and I think from what I've seen, although it's too early to tell if we've done a Marcus Stewart transfer window in January, it does look like we have significantly strengthened in the areas I think we really needed to. So I'm really excited. I think we're going to win. I'm loving where we're going so far. The only difference will be whether we have bought metal or skill, and it's metal that gets you out of leagues, not skill. So let's see where it takes us. But I also want to say, as we bring it to a conclusion, it's lovely seeing you back on here, Gov. We had very similar trajectories of pregnancy right at the same time. And on the actual night that our children were born, we were texting each other. I think our wives were in slightly different places, depending on the angles of where their legs were in the air. They were at different places in their labour, but we were texting each other all through the labour, all through the pregnancy, all through the labour. And then mine was born about, I don't know, what is he born? 9:45 in the morning. And I said, "You've got to come today, Gav. She's got to come today." And it got to about 11 o'clock. He said, "I don't think it's going to happen, Ben. I don't think she's going to come." And then bugger me, half an hour later, you said they share the same birthday. So although our paths were very similar going, all of a sudden, once they were born, they veered off a little bit. So it's really lovely to see that as we sit here today, both of our children sit in their homes, happy, healthy, and loved. So it's wonderful to see you back. You were missed. I thought Matt and Crunch done an absolutely incredible job keeping the place warm for you. But there's only one governor, and we're glad to have you back.
Yeah, thanks ever so much. That means a lot. It really does. You don't often catch me unawares. Short for words.
Yes, it's me sending the accidental naked selfies at 12:10 at night.
Thanks very much. That does mean a lot. That's touched me.
It's okay.
The words, not the selfie. But it's been a good show. Thank you ever so much.
Damn good show.
Really good. We're back on Friday at 8:30, Talking Town press conference reaction show with myself, the Cruncher, and the media mogul. Then we've got Cambridge. I don't know what's going on in Cambridge in terms of being back. Am I doing it here? Am I doing it there? I doubt.
Are you kind of in that place on the match days? You sort of got to go along with the chick, because I'm kind of finding that.
Well, I was grounded last weekend.
I felt like a real. He was born on a Thursday, and I went to the game on the Saturday. I must have checked in with Danny 100 times. Are you sure that doesn't make me an arsehole? Are you sure it doesn't make me a bad husband and a bad dad? She's like, "Ben, go. Just have a great game. We're just going to sit here and chill." Are you, like, you sure? You sure? I'm just going to close the door. Sure? That's a real yes? Okay. And I went 2 days after my son was born. So there you go. I thought, okay, I've done that. But I must say it's been a bit harder to go since, as you kind of get into it and you know, things take your attention away, of course. And but hopefully, all being well, I'll be watching it live on
Wait till they start doing clubs, mate.
Hey?
Wait till they start doing clubs.
Oh,
you've got to try and be from this side of Suffolk to that side of Suffolk in the space of 25 minutes. It's going to be tough. But yeah, I was grounded last weekend. She said,
No, fair enough. We you know, as I'm kind of learning brand new now that as a parent, it is the parenthood. The child is the planet you orbit around, and kind of your tunnel vision there needs. And football does come second, but it's a lovely little. For a few hours.
For sure, absolutely. And
yeah,
I was there obviously at Plymouth 2 days afterwards. I was there doing the shows and everything, and despite it being just a traumatic experience, I was there. And I like to think, you know, I'm my own man. I'm married, but I'm my own man. But when sometimes my wife says no,
you're out to be your own man. Yeah, of course.
12 years years later, you kind of know. Yeah, if I do go, I'm going to sleep in the bird, in the garage with the birds.
Yeah, with the pigeons. Yeah.
I'll see you next week. But anyway, there you go. You're hearing it all tonight on Talking Town. Again,
good to be back. Feels like coming home after a holiday.
Good, man. Yeah, it's good to have you back. You were always going to have that sort of time. It was very special, and it's always. Yeah, it's good to have you back on the platform. Mike D, which was a decent caretaker. Chris Hutchings would be proud.
Very decent caretaker.
Yeah, Wednesday at home wasn't a great situation.
I think him and Matt come in McGrill just very well.
Yeah, Perry 3-0. Josh Russell 4-0. Norman 5-0.
Oh,
lovely. Norman, I'll have whatever you're having.
That Burnley game's really inspired. Love it.
Certainly is. Right. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe. Catch us on Friday, and stay well. And bosh.